Greetings Earthlings, thank you for checking out my channel and thank you for clicking on this video. Saika Tumaliwan, this is for you. This is part of a series of videos that I'm going to be posting in which I make suggestions on how to fix these big budget Hollywood movies that they keep throwing at us. The first movie that I made a video for was Maleficent, and if you've seen my video on that, thank you so much. If you haven't, there's a link down below. This video is fixing Interstellar. And I have three things that I want to fix dun sa movie. So, before I start, if you haven't seen the movie and you want to watch it nang wala ka pang alam, let this be your spoiler alert. You can close the window and just come back after you've seen the movie because I can't make a how to fix video without, well, talking about certain details of the film. Alright? Let's start. Interstellar is a movie by Christopher Nolan, who is one of my favorite directors of this age. He's the man behind the Dark Knight trilogy and Memento, which actually blew my mind. The Prestige, which also blew my mind, and Inception, which was, I think, a very interesting movie. So it didn't blow my mind, but it kept me thinking throughout the movie, so that's good. And that's the reason why I was excited to watch this movie. However, I don't know why, pero may nagbago kay Christopher Nolan these past few years. The first sign that I saw was yung involvement niya sa Man of Steel, which actually is one of the movies that disappointed me a lot, and I'm going to actually make a how to fix Man of Steel video in this series. Ganun ako ka na-disappoint dun sa movie. And this movie, Interstellar, is not perfect then. And like I said, I have three suggestions on how to fix it. Now, just a quick summary of the movie. It stars Matthew McConaughey as Cooper. He's a pilot turned farmer and then was turned back into a pilot after his daughter Murphy, through a ghost in her room, found coordinates to a NASA base. And then after being there and having a conversation with the people behind the project, Matthew McConaughey goes into space to try to save the human race because nag-stop na mag-yield ng crops yung land, and well, basically human race is dying here on Earth, and they're out to find somewhere else na pwedeng mabuhay ang tao, either by moving everyone here on Earth to that planet or through a repopulation. This film documents yung relationship between the father and the daughter. The daughter was played by the same girl who played Renesmee from the Twilight series. I wouldn't dare call it a saga because a saga is too epic of a word to call that trash. So that's it. So that girl played Matthew McConaughey's daughter. And although I already had this kind of negative bias against her, kasi nga mukha siya yun yung Renesmee na child, I found this child actress was really, really good, and yung rapport niya with Matthew McConaughey was also very, very heartfelt, heart-touching, tas sobrang ang ganda nung relationship nila. So, ganun din siya heartbreaking when Murphy decided to kind of hate on her dad dahil nga sa decision niya to leave Earth. Now, the movie goes on, follows yung journey nung team, which includes Matthew McConaughey and Hathaway, a few other guys who, well, everyone knows would die pretty soon, and a robot. There's a robot na parang siyang Lego blocks. Interesting naman yung band. Tapos punta sila sa outer space, punta sila through the wormhole, and then they go into these planets to go check kung ano nangyari sa mga people na nauna na pumunta sa expedition to find life. And on one of, well, they have these little adventures. I mean, ayoko kasi spoil too much, pero little adventures dun sa mga stopovers nila. Pero, which leads me to the first thing that I found na could have changed and made the entire film better, which was Anne Hathaway's dramatic love is quantifiable rant. Meron kasi dun sa part sa movie na nag all out ng iyak-iyak to si Anne Hathaway, nag-explain siya na to get the crew to vote na pumunta sila dun sa planet wherein nandun yung kanyang boyfriend, although wala yung signal, versus a planet in which they are quite sure na merong someone there. And I found that scene actually detrimental to the plot. Why do I say that? Kasi they could have given that speech to Matthew McConaughey na lang, and it would have made a stronger argument dun sa kanilang goal to establish love as a powerful force na as parang effective or as strong as gravity. They could have used Matthew McConaughey because he had stronger draws naman on Earth than romantic love for this doctor girl who was actually sayang kasi she was fairly level-headed and well mission-oriented siyang scientist doctor. If you see yung first parts ng movie, there was barely enough clue that she was this, alam niyo yun, sappy na love-stricken na babae na desperate to be with her boyfriend. If they included kahit isang scene lang in which she has yung picture ng boyfriend niya, alam mo yun, kunyari, naglo-launch sila, tapos she has that and she touches it, kung ganun man lang, and then this scene happens, it would have made sense. Pero hindi. Siya yung person na gumagawa ng logical decisions throughout the journey. So, napaka-uncharacteristic na sa kanya. Also, I would have appreciated, well, as a woman, I would have appreciated that they give this message to a male. Para naman hindi naman masyadong, ano yun, it gives off a message na women are capable of making sacrifices and doing things just for, well, just to go to their man. Which is sad. Kasi sayang meron ka ng strong female lead tapos ganun yung motivation niya. Hindi ba mas maganda na ibigay mo yung motivation na yun sa guy, and then yung girl yung medyo, alam mo yun, parang unique naman tayo kahit papano. Siya yung mas mission-oriented, willing to sacrifice, stuff like that. Kasi if you think about it, if Murphy is the one na ayaw magsakripisyo, okay lang, understandable, kasi meron siyang anak may pamilya siyang motivation. At this is romantic love. And in my experience, familial love, even if it seems mundane and normal and hindi ka masyadong aware of it, is way stronger than romantic love all the time. So yun, that's my first point. The second point na gusto kong baguhin about the movie is actually the ghost. Kasi within the first 15 minutes of the movie, we find out na Murphy has this ghost or poltergeist in her room who keeps sending messages in binary through books sa kanyang room na nalalaglag, stuff like that. And yung ghost na yun, I think, ewan ko if you're a thinking moviegoer, within the first 15 minutes of the movie, you kind of figure out that ghost is Matthew McConaughey. Kasi sino pa ba? Wala namang iba. I don't think, natawa ko kasi I actually laughed out loud kasi I knew that Christopher Nolan would be someone na magpo-propose ng actual ghost. So, ang options mo lang are people who are there. Ang suggestion ko to correct that, na parang naman kahit pa paano element of surprise, or kahit pa paano it gets the audience to thinking kung sino nga ba yung ghost, kahit na just a little, is that Murphy should be convinced from the beginning that that ghost is her mother. Okay, why do I say that? Kasi if you tell the audience that the ghost is the mother, then some people will actually believe that. Na yun nga, galing siya sa heaven talking to the child. Another reason na dapat i-establish yun, kasi at least parang kahit pa may parang foil, may distraction naman. Hindi ka naman napaisip agad na si Cooper na yun. Yun. So, sana they could have done that. Total naman, may ghost na rin lang. Bigyan na lang ng pangalan. Diba? Para at the end, nung nalaman ni Cooper na siya yun, kasi nakakatawa siya lang yung nagulat. Buong audience, hindi naman nagulat na siya yung nagtutulak ng books dun sa shelf. Siya lang yung na-surprise. So, if they turned it into the mother, at least, may ganun ka na moment. Hindi yung alam mo na yun yung mangyayari. So, yun. That's it. Now, the third point that I want to make is actually not just a problem na nakita ko sa Interstellar, pero in movies in general, both local and foreign, in which they couldn't decide on whether to make a proper intellectual or artistic film versus a film that is parang cut out na for the masses. So in their quest to strike a balance between both, which they very rarely do, they end up with something na disappoint yung either side. Okay, what am I saying? If you ask me if Interstellar is good, and you tell me na, is it something like 2001: A Space Odyssey? I would say no. Okay? Kasi you can put that movie into this end of the spectrum. It's a movie na about space, about life, about humanity, which didn't have as much exposition. It gave you images, it gave you scenes, it gave you characters, gave you a storyline, which revealed all that it wanted to reveal without someone, like a scientist, explaining what's going on. Okay? So, involved yung audience dun sa storytelling. On the other end, it's not a bad movie, but it's a different kind of space movie. We have Armageddon. And that movie is a space movie in which the audience knows what's going on. Okay? So, may explain nila, kailangan nila ng group of drillers, meron silang dalawang drill. Ano yun, we have all these information, putting science and, well, artsy-fartsy intellectual conversation aside. Focus sila on the characters instead of the sciencey part. Okay? But the movie did well. It gave you everything you wanted. It was entertaining. It was good. This was good on a different level. Okay? Interstellar is somewhere in between. Okay? In doing that, it disappointed people who belonged on these two groups. Okay? Bakit? There was too little exposition for people who wanted to be entertained and wanted to be involved in the characters lang. And there was too few exposition for them, and too much exposition for people who were expecting a 2001: A Space Odyssey. Do you get my point? Okay. Okay. Things like relativity, things like love is quantifiable. They were explained in these parang miniature monologues in the movie, which were too much. For someone like me who wanted to, alam yun, figure out things by myself as I interact with the movie, which I did with Memento. So yun, na-disappoint ako. And I also found, okay, speaking for this side naman, I found naman na on those times that they made those monologues, they were saying things at a very fast pace. Alam niyo yung pag nagre-report ka sa class, tapos hindi ka masyadong sure dun sa nire-report mo, tapos gusto mong matapos na lang, you just keep talking and saying things, mabilis na mabilis lang, throwing in a few terms here and there, just for you to get to your point, tapos ka na. Ganun yung feeling pag nag-explain yung characters in the movie. Especially Matthew McConaughey. Parang you see na yung nasa mata niya na gusto niya na matapos yung scene, so ang bilis-bilis niya magsalita. Ganun siya. So, for someone who is kind of familiar na with relativity and wormholes, okay lang yun. Although ang dami niya sinabi, so na-disappoint ka. For someone who knows nothing and wants to have everything explained to them, hindi mo rin naiintindihan. So, wala. Yun. So, ang third suggestion ko is, I think for all filmmakers to pick a side. Before you start shooting the movie, pick a side to please, and then, hayaan nyo na yung ibang hindi makaintindi. I think yun yung nawawala kasi dahil dun sa idea na dapat blockbuster movies yung ginagawa. Dahil in your fear na ma-alienate yung ibang demographic, ibang side ng spectrum, you give us a movie na ganun lang siya. So, is Interstellar good? Well, it had pretty pictures, but the story was rough. The screenwriting was rough. And I had this feeling na nag-start na sila to shoot the movie without finishing the entire script. It's either that or there maybe 30 minutes more of film in a box somewhere or in the editing room floor na hindi nalagay, kaya medyo jagged yung storytelling. It also boasts of a happy ending, which I felt was convenient, and yun. Hindi naman sa negative ang taong gusto ko ng tragedy, no? Pero it was too pretty of an ending na medyo na disappoint ako. I would have preferred to have Matthew McConaughey make the ultimate sacrifice. You know, alam mo yun, hindi nila siya mapulot ng shuttle. Pero well, baka siguro nag-test better sa viewing parties yung happy ending. Kaya yun yung binigay nila sa atin. So overall, the movie's good, but it's just not the greatest. And those are my 3 things that you could do to fix Interstellar. So, someone from the future, if you're going to make a reboot of the movie, please consider these 3 things that I suggested. Like I said, first thing, take out the Anne Hathaway monologue about love and finding true love somewhere out there in space. The second thing would be to make the audience believe that Murphy's ghost is her mom. And the third one is for filmmakers to pick a side. Either almost no exposition to get the audience thinking, or enough exposition to get everyone to understand what you're trying to do and just focus on different aspects of the character instead of the science stuff. So that's it. Thank you for watching, and if you want to know when I post my next video, you can hit subscribe down below, and I'll see you again. Thanks for watching, and keep watching movies.